good evening.
Hello, hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm really well. It's very early for you, isn't it?
It is. It's just on 6 a.m. However, yeah, I was so excited to jump out of bed. I haven't been that excited to jump out of bed for a long time.
I
Oh
love that
my,
so much. This is amazing. Thank you so much for
oh,
getting up so early and being so excited. I love that.
you're welcome. It's so good. I'll be honest, I had to make my cacao because like I can't function in the morning. Well, I can. It's just that, that cozy routine and the
Yeah.
sun's come up and I'm like, oh,
And I
quick, quick,
also
quick.
feel like when you start your day with cacao, it's like you said, that coziness. And this chat is all about, connecting in a cozy space. It's all about allowing people to know that we've never spoken before and you can connect just really ad hoc and randomly when you are really calm and warm within yourself. So I love the mama cacao there for that.
I love it.
It's amazing. So, just to introduce yourself, what would you, first of all, because I think it's really fun to
Mm.
share something random, like that they wouldn't be able to know from Instagram, from your website? What's something random
Oh,
that you would want people to know about you that are watching?
oh gosh, something random.
I love it. It
You
throws
really,
people off.
really put me on the spot. I was like, oh, maybe I'll talk about angels. No, that's on my Instagram. Hang
Yeah.
on. Okay.
Isn't
Really
it hard
random.
when we're an open book to our communities?
Yeah, I share everything and anything. So it's kind of just you don't really think about yourself in that way. Do you? You just think, oh,
Yeah.
just
Well,
this normal
and
person.
we probably think about the
Mm.
deeper things. And so
Yeah.
has your mind gone straight away to like really deep, thoughtful things rather than just being like, my favorite color's yellow?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, do I say something about, when I was younger, about my children, about da, 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 da? Okay, really random thing. Actually, I felt really drawn this morning to wear this. So I went through this stage of for years and years of never wearing pink, saying I just dislike pink. I cannot wear pink. I was always into blues and greens, always since I was younger. And then it was about a few years ago when I got into a bit more of like embodiment work and femininity work. I just got drawn to, I cannot stop wearing pink and my body loves wearing pink. And I haven't worn it for about a year. And this morning I felt wearing softening and wearing my pink cardigan. So there you go.
Getting real into your feminine there, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. That's
Isn't it
random.
amazing how we connect to colors at
Mm,
different times? And depending on what emotions are coming up in people, they will be drawn to different colors like they are energies.
mm.
And it's literally a pull, isn't it?
It is. And I know, well, for those that don't know, because we're just talking here, so I live in Australia, but I'm in Melbourne, and it's this sea of black. Everyone loves to wear black, majority of people. And I remember working with it's over 10 years ago now, 15 years ago, gosh, time goes quick. But someone who was actually from London, and she said to me, she had this beautiful red coat on in winter. I said, oh my gosh, I love your coat. She goes, I don't know what's with everyone here in Melbourne. It's just black. You honestly go to the
Mm.
city in Melbourne in winter, not that I do anymore, like to stay away from crowds, but it is just black. And I just go, I can't wear black anymore. I feel morbid. I feel like I'm going to a funeral. Honestly, it just reminds me of grief. And, people, it can be a power color. However, for me, when I put, say, if I've got black leggings on, if I go to put a black top, I've actually had to take it off before in
Yeah.
my change moments. I used to be able to last few years since I've changed, my cells have changed since, I've really discovered who I am. I actually, even now talking about it, I can feel this heaviness. It's,
Yeah.
ooh,
I so feel you. And I actually really resonate with that. I didn't pick up on the fact that in the city centre of Melbourne, because I was there last year, it's such a
no
shame that we're
way.
connecting now rather than last year, but there's timing for everything, so I'll be back.
Absolute, absolute divine timing, darling. Yeah.
I did not did not even think about that before you've just said that then. How it is. So many
Mm.
people wear black in the city. For me, when I wear black and I just like thought about it in that moment and connected with it, I was like, my whole attitude wanted to change and be like, yeah, I'm here. Like, this is what I've got to say. It like went very like confronting and very harsh,
Mm.
almost like fight ready. It was so that it was like getting my claws out energy. And then I'm like secretly going down like Batman, Catwoman.
Yeah, yeah. In the power centers. I can do this in a
Yeah.
sexy and a powerful way.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's hilarious.
So
But
yeah, it's yeah, it's an interesting one. I think I recently did it that threw on my white and green and pink sneakers, my shoes,
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, thank you for that question. I absolutely, because I am a deep person. If anyone here understands a lot of human design, I am a projector, a 1-3. I'm very deep. I don't do surface level very well.
Are
And
you? My partner's a projector.
oh yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah, and I'm a manifesting generator.
amazing. That's why you're showing up with all the energy all the time. I love it.
Do you know lots about it?
Not I don't do it, but I have delved into it quite a bit over the last few years because once I understood what I am, realizing, oh, that makes sense why I get so tired and why I get so burnt out because I've been trying to operate like a manifesting generator. It's this idea, act on it. This idea, act on it. And that's not how I'm designed. So once I realized what to do with that energy and how to flow with my energy of my blueprint of how I'm designed. Now, not to say I'm perfect because, I did burn out the other day because I was trying to get everything done. It just makes me go back and go, that's not how I'm designed. I'm supposed to rest. I'm only supposed to have these short bursts of energy to get my work done, to be, seen to be helpful to others in those time periods. Otherwise, I can become quite out of alignment really quickly. And
Yeah.
then, the bitterness and then the resentment and then the
I
burnout. And then
know.
it's like, oh, is this even what I want to be doing? And then da, 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 da. It's just because I'm tired.
That is incredible though, knowing that. You can literally like work through those layers and know where you're getting to and when you need to like go time out, time out. So are
Mm.
you quite introverted?
I would say I actually am now, but if
Mm.
I look back to my childhood or adulthood, it may have been seen as being extroverted. And I would have thought that I was an extrovert. But what I realized was it was very masking of who I truly was underneath. So it was on the outside, I looked really bubbly and happy all the time. But inside, I was like, oh my God, I really need my space and my energy. And I'm so done trying to pretend to put on this space. And so I would say I'm an introvert, but I can be very extroverted when I'm with the right people.
There's a new thing that's being like said about, is it, I might absolute butcher this, but ambivert. Ambivert.
Oh.
It's like when you're in the middle and you're introverted, but when you're with the right people, you become extroverted.
Oh, I would say 100%. Whatever they want to
I
label it.
know, literally, this is me.
Yeah, it really is because and I think this is for anyone who are true to themselves, who really understand themselves and have done work on themselves, is when you're in the right space where you can truly be yourself without judgment, without shame, without fear. It doesn't matter when you just find your people. And I'm sure you've had many of experiences in this in your journey as well. I can just be. And sometimes it's just, I could sit here for 2 hours in silence with you.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that I'm an introvert. That can be, I'm just happy just to be, and we don't have to talk for the sake of it. our energy can just be so comfortable in each other. Whereas in the past, it may have been I was trying to make conversation all the time to fill that void of uncomfortability. So
Oh, that
really
literally was me
interesting.
all over. Oh,
Yeah.
and I think it will be many people watching this. I feel like
Mm.
they will be saying things when everything in their body wants to just be, or to actually remove themselves from situations that they don't want to be in, but they feel like they have to be in.
Yes. Yes. Oh gosh, we've been there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it can happen. What you're explaining is like a really sense of calm safety in the body. And that can be not just with like your friends or your partner, it can also be with clients. I know I've experienced that in my work, even when I've like held group space, is some group spaces I could be in it for hours. I could literally be leading it for hours as well, and nothing
Mm.
would, I would stay very energized, or like I would just stay very calm in that space. And then I've been in spaces where I've led, and afterwards I've needed a 2 day reset. So it completely depends on the people and how they're moving through life, their
Yes.
surroundings, environment. I'll actually share the most recent one I did was in London, like right in Soho, so like the right in the core of London.
Yeah.
And the intensity was far greater than elsewhere because people are in that chase, they're in pressure, they're in high intensity of emotion in like a city
Mm.
centre, but also in the types of jobs that people work in that live in London and the types of other people that they're getting to surround themselves with. You're not going to get free flowing, nature loving people living in the city of London. It's just not going to happen.
Definitely not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They all need it, but definitely not.
Yeah. So, you know, that was a lot more energetically demanding for me because I'm very feminine, but I also can be masculine, as we all can. But I had
Mm.
to really go into my masculine. Like, and I remember walking in the room and
Had to
I,
hold that space. You had to
yeah,
ground the space, right?
absolutely. And I knew it was going to happen because I think no matter what, where you are, anything that comes with holding space for somebody, you have to know in that
Mm.
moment you have to go into your masculine to make them feel safe and secure and with structure. So you have that knowing, and then when you walk into an energy, you can really know how far you need to go. And it was like, Alexina, get your fucking self into your masculine, for goodness sake.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I think that's actually like really connecting for people that maybe hadn't thought about it like that before.
I feel definitely, and also on the other aspect, people, and when I'm feeling into where you were as well, is you being in that masculine and grounding people and allowing them enough to have that safety so that they can soften and come into
Mhm.
their feminine because they are in that more go when we talk about them, the masculine, just, I'm sure people kind of understand. They think, oh, I'm not a male. Oh, no, it's not about male, female. We all have those aspects. But to be able to hold that space where people are more so in their heads and in that doing and in that rushing and in that grinding and that hustling. It's like, well, how can I hold and ground that masculine so they can soften and surrender and realize I don't need to keep chasing and being and doing. So you were really kind of, I'm seeing that yin yang, being that
Yeah.
balance for them so that they could topple their masculine and that you could bring it and they could go, oh, I can soften and just relax. And this is what it's like to breathe. Oh,
Literally, I love that explanation. And it is, you have to be in
mm,
both, and it's like a dance that you flow from one to the other.
absolutely. And I'm assuming, well, I'm just assuming here, so
Yeah.
you can, correct me, but a lot of us that have come through this journey on the other side of softening, into the femininity and into these spaces, have been on that other side too much. I was really in my masculine for years, and it's that constant, that independence, that I have to do everything on my own. I've got to grind, I've got to go, 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 I've got to work, it's never enough, yada, 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 like all that. And then so to come on the other side, we're still trying to find that balance. And some days it is, you have to be a little bit more uplifted. Like we can't just be fully in the feminine and we can't just be fully in the masculine. I love this. Can you see the sun coming on my face?
I
It's
know,
really
it's
unique.
amazing. As you're speaking, I'm literally like, I'm looking at a yin and yang.
The sun is risen and I'm just going, oh my
It's
goodness, yin yang.
amazing.
I'll go this side for now. But yeah, really being in that space. And then when we realize why we can become so exhausted, as women in society in general, because we're still getting caught up in all the energy of the do all the time. And we're not designed to do that. We're designed to have balance, everybody, male or female, doesn't matter who you are. And so I think it's so important that you hold these spaces, but yeah, to recognize where we do have to lift and become in that masculine, and when we can soften, to share with people what the feminine does feel like, and what the healing and what the softening, the surrender feels like. But then I totally resonate with what you mean. When I teach my classes, whether they're online or in person, some days they're, for 3 days in a row, whatever it is. And it's just, I sometimes need a week to 2 weeks off. But, I can't fully do that. I have 2 children still. I have a husband still. I have, other things. But I try and make some real conscious space in knowing after that I need to replenish myself, because we can't just give 100% all the time. It's
Yeah.
really not recharging the energy. And you're right, each group will have its own soul energy. And I love when people come together and then they realize that, they've got this beautiful connection, and or they trigger each other. It's, depending on what energy and space you're holding, it's, oh, okay. And we just don't know. We don't know what we're going to come into. But being able to recognize, how is this also making me feel? Of course, we can hold that space, but later, what has it brought up for ourselves? And how do I need to honor my energy with this? So yeah, just beautiful. But I love that you said holding something in the middle of, London in Soho, and just that energy, because each place holds its own density and frequency. And when you're an empath, which so many people are, and they don't realize, and they go to places and go, whoa, why do I feel so funny, and whatever it is, or I feel so light and I feel like I'm at home, or I feel like I need to get away from here, because each space has its own frequency. And the more we can tap into that, going, is this actually mine, or is it the space, is it the people? It's just so much more empowering to know it's okay, it's not me, or no, it is you. it's
Yeah.
you. It's not you, it's me. Is that the saying? It's not you, it's me. And it's like, no. It is the
It
space.
is the
But
space,
how do I shift through that? How do I, not so much even having to protect your energy, but how do I recognize this isn't mine, and I don't need to become a part of that collective energy, or realize, oh, what's going on here? What has drawn me here to this space? What am I feeling here, and what's it bringing up for me? I'm going to try and shut this blind.
Yeah, go for it. And it's a collective energy. And when we say that, we
Mm.
mean that people will feel one energy together at once.
Yes.
So us in the world, we're all feeling a collective energy depending on, I'm not an astrologer, but I love researching astrology.
Yeah.
And so we as humans are all feeling different emotions and different energetic charges based off of the atmosphere around us. And then within that, you then come together in a more intimate space, and you will all, like you said, trigger emotions, but it merges your energies together and you will be feeling the same things. So that's just to go in on collective energy, because I genuinely don't think many people, even when they have been in healing spaces, know what that is or understand what that is. So that is collective energy. Would you add anything on that?
Oh, I could talk. Oh, we've led into theta. We've led into theta because and what I mean by theta is the theta healing modality that I teach. One of the things that I teach is the collective energy I have learned a lot about in my last, gosh, time goes so quick, 6, 7 years since doing finding theta healing, or I say it found me, because one of the levels that we work on with people's beliefs and attachments, energy attachments, is the history level, which is made up of the collective energy. So society, when people go, what is collective energy? You keep saying collective. So if you think of what a collection of energy is society has its own energy. So your, cultures, or just in general where you live. And when sometimes we don't realize, especially with fear, people can be tapped into collective energy fears. An example would be, even though I don't really like bringing this up, so BC, and I'm not talking about good old Jesus Christ here of BC. So before COVID, Melbourne was,
I love that. I've never
I
heard
feel,
of that.
I feel proud and also kind of disgusted and embarrassed and shamed. No, I'm joking. I've been the longest lockdown city. So, we still refer to things as BC and AC, before COVID and after COVID. So the COVID fears, which was felt through the world, but specifically in certain areas, knowing that you could have been really tapped into what's going to happen. It was that collective consciousness fear. And so I had just come into theta before COVID, thank goodness, because I did a lot of work on myself and I got to learn a lot of theta healing courses online and stuff through COVID. Was noticing when I had been tapped into the collective consciousness fear of going, oh my gosh, I've picked this up. And even though I'm not a news watcher, I don't like to watch TV, but we've all got phones and social media, or things just pop up because that's how it's designed. You could all of a sudden be triggered and being going, what is going on with me? And I don't know what's happening. Oh, I'm connected into the collective consciousness energy here, this belief system. Okay. And what I love about theta is, I'm just going to disconnect myself from that. And it's just this instant, I don't need to tap into that, but really work on, if it's not yours, if it's not coming from your childhood or from your ancestry or something, a lot of the time, and recently I've been doing this with some of my clients, is you're tapped into the group consciousness fear of this. And there's so many different things, we can talk about so many belief systems, little sayings that people have that have come from society, and we don't realize that, it's not even mine. I believe that, but it's not really my belief. It's just society's belief, but I can easily just disconnect myself. It's not the truth.
Yeah.
It's just a truth to this society. And so, yeah, but when we talk about collective, because I realize when we're in this work, we can talk about it. Oh, yeah, I know what it is because I know what it is. Realizing that people don't understand, it's just what is out there, the collective of what is out there. But you can still be a part of a system, a part of a group, but you don't have to be tapped into all of its belief systems.
Yeah, and they're all dictated as well, depending on people's experience. So you have the emotions that will arise in
Mm.
somebody, and that is separate from energetic connection. So it's really lovely for people to know those differences, but it's fascinating to talk more about the energetics, because I've never very briefly discussed theta healing before on here. Obviously spoken a lot about limiting beliefs and how to
Yeah.
change those energetic ties in different ways, because I try actually not to use terminology with a
Mm.
label to define like how I heal, because I truly do
Don't
believe
need
that
to.
we are all our own medicine. So connect with the healer and then it
100%.
will work. But for example, with theta healing, what is amazing is it is talking about going into the different energetic levels of consciousness, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
You talk through the different layers of energetic consciousness and connection, and also how theta healing works. Like if somebody wanted, for example, to come to you for theta healing, or to qualify? Because you do courses too, don't you?
Yeah, I teach. Yeah. That's how we've ended up connecting
Yeah.
through beautiful Eva, who has become one of my students and learning. That's what I love about technology, right? It's like I have this love-hate relationship with technology. I think a lot of us do. But the beauty of technology is being able to reach people wherever in the world and to be able to teach and shift energy, because it's not physical. It doesn't matter where we are. We're just in this physical space, but we're really in this energetic space. So
Yeah.
yes, it is something that I do teach, and I do use it in my day to day, even with my clients. I don't label it as specifically as a theta healing session, because I do utilize all of my skills, all of my knowledge. And so perfect, what you were saying is it is a tool, and it's more so than a tool to be able to quickly access the subconscious mind, which is where we store our belief systems, our limiting beliefs, but we can instantly change them. So instead of some other modalities can take a lot of time, very lengthy in trying to access and shift those beliefs. I'm not going to label them because I think everything has its place. But with theta, it is instant, being able to access the subconscious mind instantly. And it really is through the energy of creation, through the energy of the creator, God energy, the divine source energy, not a person, nothing to do with religion. It accepts all religions, all people, all races. And that's what I love about it. It really is non-biased. And it is so much, you learn so much, but really it's about how to learn to quickly access the connection to the creator, which gives you the truth, and which is the subconscious mind, and to be able to shift the beliefs and also instill and understand what specific feelings feel like, because a lot of us have not experienced certain feelings. And what I mean by that, before I'd come into theta, I never really knew what true joy felt like. Whenever I looked back, I was like, I don't know what joy feels like. We talk about what joy is, but if you've never felt it, you might think it's just a state of happiness. But to experience pure joy, this elation of joy. So, when you get that instilled into our cells, because it has memory from the creator, from the divine, to know what the absolute truth is of that feeling, and then have that when you have never had that, and to be able to witness that in others. Oh man, like it is just phenomenal. The unconditional love energy that we get when we're using theta a lot, to be able to send that to anyone, even if they don't want a healing, just to be able to send unconditional love. It's like a pure prayer, right? It's a pure prayer, and it's just this most utmost beautiful energy. And to just feel that, it's like nothing else matters, but we are playing with the feelings, the beliefs, and the connection. That is what it is. And your intuition, like the
Yeah, because
trust that
when
you have in
you
yourself.
tap into that trust and that truth
Mm.
in that place, you can then work out whether or not that is an emotion from the now, or if it's an emotion from the past. And then there are some, do you find this? There's some clients where you can literally go, no, that's not from now. That's from the past. You can let that go. People that are really far along in their healing. And then
Yeah,
there's other people that you have to really nurture through it and help
you
them
have to start it.
understand that it's a past emotion and it's not a current emotion, and that it doesn't need to hold them in this place. And there's different ways of then using the healing depending on
Absolutely.
who you are, what you've just gone through, what you're experiencing.
Absolutely. And the thing is, you're spot on, and depends on where everyone is in their journey, and their level of awareness and understanding will impact what comes up. Because for someone, like you, who has had a lot of experience as well, I can just get into your energy. Well, it's not me. I'm just the conduit. I'm just the outside person, but I can connect in to source, to creator. And I always scan my clients before I do a session, because I'll go, they'll come to me and go, I've got this problem and this problem, and I'll scan and I go, it's actually got nothing to do with this. That's just your mind telling
Yes.
you that
And
problem.
5 minutes before a session, I actually, when I first ever started doing healing, I would leave a lot more time before clients, but now I just need like 5 minutes, and I'll always tap in and I'll go, okay, show me what's going to come up today. And then, or like ask it in different ways and how I'm being pulled towards. And then I always get this intuitive insight. And so the first question is always like, how are you? And you're already thinking, I know exactly how you are. I probably know more about how you are than you know about how you are. Because I'm connecting from the truth and
Spot on.
you might be
Oh my
connecting through
goodness.
limitation.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the joy of being a space holder, right? Of being so honored to be able to do our work, because when we've been through this ourselves, because most of us have been through deep, deep healing, to be able to go, oh my goodness, I need to be able to hold space. Well, not need to, cancel that. We don't need to. I choose to hold space, because this is what we're meant to be doing here, is because we know the depths of going to the roots of what is truly happening for us, instead of thinking there's something always wrong in my life, or what's wrong with me, having illness or disease, the dis-ease, that the uncomfortable, the imbalance in the body, the imbalance in the mind, the imbalance in the spirit, and knowing that there's so much more to the surface of what we've been taught. We don't get taught these things in school. We don't get taught these things when we grow up. Changing that now with the generations. I love being able to teach, my children in the way that I can, being really open and understanding, but feeling that it's so important that, no one truly can do things alone. We're not meant to. We're not meant to. And it's not us getting the answers. When they realize that we are just the channel, we are connecting into higher truths, and we will all see everything different. Just like if you had a diamond, or a crystal that's made from the beautiful earth, and we looked at it from every different angle, you will get a different perspective of where the light's hitting and refracting and retracting and whatever it is. We will all see things differently, but we're still looking at the same diamond. We're still looking at the same person. We're still looking at the same problem, but we will get different perspectives depending on what is ready to come up right then for that person. And so to be able to really get to the roots of what is happening in the center that's causing that outside perception for that client, for that society, and go, this is truly what's going on. Would you like to shift that? Would you like to change that? Would you like to feel different? How do you want to feel? And to be able to release that instantly in seconds, and then see and feel, and they feel the difference, and going, oh my gosh, this, I love when, and I'm sure you get this all the time, it's like the weight is lifted off my shoulders. And it's like, yeah, because you were literally, the other day, I actually had this client, and I never met her before. I didn't know anything. And, scanned her. We did a lot of stuff. There was a lot of deep stuff going on. And then I saw this past life, or this, historical life energy, where she was literally entrapped in rubble of bricks, like houses. And I was seeing, as I'm doing this healing, I'm seeing this, and we're shifting all these systems and beliefs and experiences and trauma. To be able to clear the shock and the trauma from the system is just incredible, right? So a lot of people miss that key. It's like we can change the beliefs, but if we don't pull the shock and trauma from the system, it is still in there. And so I saw that release, and then I just saw all these bricks coming off her, and she could come out. And I didn't say anything to her yet. She just said, she goes, I just feel like all this weight has come off my shoulders. And I just started laughing. I was just like, yeah. And she does do energy work, so it was easy for me to explain it to her. I said, I just saw you in another lifetime, literally being buried alive, and it was, the rubble of these bricks coming off you, because you're now you've completed that lifetime. I said, you've still been under that lifetime now, until this very moment, until we just shifted that belief system that she couldn't speak her truth because she was trapped.
Wow.
Yeah, gives me goosebumps, right?
Incredible. So
Yeah.
I want to ask you then, down that path, because this is something that I found really curious recently. I really believe in mediums,
Mm.
and I have strong belief in that, because I have felt it, and I've experienced things where like messages have come through and like I couldn't have known that. But also being in touch with a lot of mediums and
Yes.
how they work, seeing them work. Even Jess, do you follow her in Melbourne? Talk Spirit to me.
I've seen one online. I don't think I follow. I think I might have seen an ad
In-
of a few. There's so many amazing mediums around.
Incredible,
Yeah.
incredible. But I follow her and I've like connected with her previously. And when she posts the stories that come up, it's like that literally could not be
Hmm.
untrue. And there's also the Netflix series where you're following the medium as he goes through and meets different people and he helps release trauma from their body because he's helping them
Yes.
understand how their loved ones died. And
Mm,
so he was getting a really strong pull to this red post box at the end of the drive. And he was like, there's something there, like I need to go to that. So he went
yeah.
in one house and thought it was this person and the story didn't connect. And he was like, no. And it like looked like it had gone wrong. And it was like, no, it's definitely this road. It's definitely, so it's one of the other houses. And then a woman's walking along the road and he's like, it's her. And he's tapped into her energetically, but she didn't even apply to go on the show. It was her neighbor.
Mm, yeah.
And so
Divine
that's,
timing.
yeah, right, divine timing, but also like collective energy because she may have been supporting that neighbor with the grief. So she was energetically connected to their past person that they were deeply
Mm,
emotionally connected to. And so I find it fascinating, love it all. But how do you connect then past lives
yep.
with then mediumship?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I oh gosh, okay, so this is why I got into theater. This is really interesting you bring this up. Is oh, by the way, so just for people who don't understand, so theta is a brainwave.
Yeah.
So the theta, it is a theta is a brainwave that's a really deep, relaxed brainwave, but you're fully conscious. It's the same one that people use for hypnosis. But here's the thing: I don't make people start being like a chicken because they agree to being like a chicken. That's why it works. Okay, no one can make you do anything. You all have control over what you say yes and no to. Just putting that out there. But theta healing is a trademark modality created by the beautiful Vianna Stibel, who still teaches to today. And so I just want to when I say theta, I'm referring to theta healing, but it is a brainwave. So why did I get into theta? So years before, so this is going back, oh goodness, when I was really went through my first spiritual awakening. And I was always interested in natural therapies, even as a young girl. Just wasn't about to say don't ask why, but it was part of my path, right? So it wasn't around me. I didn't grow up around it, but I was just always really intrigued. And even at the age of 17, I got a casual job at a natural therapy center doing casual reception. But I wasn't awake yet. And when I say awake, I didn't understand that we were more than this human body. I was really wanting to understand what was going on. I was intrigued, but I really did not understand it and get it. I had so much fear. I grew up with a lot of fear. It's a conversation with another time. But I realized that through going through my mission and journey and at age even 19 doing all these little workshops and learning about astrology and then learning about clearing your chakras and meditation and things, but I still didn't really get it. I didn't
Yeah.
get it. I was doing it, but I didn't get it. You may
Okay,
understand,
right. Yeah,
right?
and I
And
was
then
very similar age as well.
yeah, and then I worked a whole different life. I was in a corporate life from age 19 to like 25, and bless it, that's where I met my husband. I was about to say my now husband. You know how people do that trend now, like my current husband, and then to get a bit of a
This
joke.
one, oh my gosh, we've had a
Yeah,
very
my this one.
similar path
I only had one
because
husband, but yeah,
yeah, minus the
yeah,
husband. I haven't had the
yeah,
husband.
yeah.
I
That's
don't
okay.
have
Your
the
partner,
husband.
whatever. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
we
yeah. It doesn't
very
matter.
similar paths. So you were then in corporate
Interesting.
until 25.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was always, it started off in, doing the customer service and then becoming, a head specialist of, supporting people, helping the people that needed the help, right? And then into project work and business analyst work. And it was killing my soul. It was like, oh my gosh. And, it was interesting because I ended up leaving that space because I woke up with a neck injury with slipped discs in my neck and my shoulder. So the universe is like, hey, this isn't for you, but you're not listening, getting the attention, and then you're in a job and doing things that you don't like. So we're going to create something physical so that you can start to go on a journey to really understand yourself. And so that was the start of the journey, right? So anyway, so
And it
leaving
always
that.
does ruckus up something. So for other people to look out for, it's like physical illness, or maybe there's like tension, arguments happening in relationships that there isn't
Absolutely.
anything physically happening for that tension to be there. What do you think there are any main core signs to look out for other than those two?
I think it's just really tuning in and going, am I truly happy? And
Yeah.
am I doing what I'm meant to be doing, or am I doing it just because society says, or because my genetics say, or my family says, or am I being honest with myself in any given moment in all parts of the day?
Yeah, I
Are
think
you just
that is
settling?
incredibly rare, though, that somebody can say
Mm,
they are wholeheartedly, 100% of the time, honest with themselves, with others, with their life path. And you have to keep calling yourself out on it as well. Because even I do this
always.
now. I would say I feel so in flow energetically, and I feel very good at pulling myself up on that honesty of going, oh, wait a minute, let's listen to my body. Where does this not feel right?
Mm,
Ah, okay, so my body's telling me this now. And then I'll make my decision based off of what my body's saying rather than my mind. But even if somebody's pressuring, if somebody's rushing me for a decision, I go to your mind kicks in and your programming kicks in.
it does. And that's the survival, right?
Yeah.
And we're wired like that for a reason. And so we have to thank our mind. And then once we really start to tap in on how we go, hey, it's okay. I'm safe now. It's okay. Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but I am actually safe. And I'm trying to do this. So it's, that rewiring, but it's also reassuring those parts of yourself and going, it's okay. It's not as scary. It is a risk, but we can grow from this. It doesn't matter. It's going to work out whichever way. But that's part of, really, the depths of the journey. But when someone's starting off, they don't understand that yet. They don't.
Yeah.
They're not going to.
And
They
it's
haven't understood
internal
themselves.
trust, isn't it? It's like what
It
actually
is.
builds the ability to do that and to listen to your body is trust. Because why on earth would you listen to your body when you don't trust
Mm,
yourself? Because it makes things feel more scary because there isn't an explanation. Whereas our mind creates narratives and explanations, our body doesn't do that. It
yeah.
just sends signals and then you've got to figure it out.
Absolutely. And you're so right. The mind is trying to run the show, right? But at the end of the day, it's if we allow it. But when someone's starting off on their journey, they're generally up in the mind. We're up in the mind. I mean, I had severe anxiety and panic attacks. I think we may have had similar stuff, but mine was really masked for years. And I didn't realize, well, I didn't admit that I had anxiety until I had my second child, my daughter. And then I fell into a big postnatal anxiety, depression, suicidal. And so those panic attacks from then, and then really going deep into what I would call my second awakening of truly understanding at age 30, the 26, I had that first awakening, but at 30 of when I had my daughter, the fears came up. I birthed this little
Mm.
girl, I birthed this new me. And you know what? It was the most scariest thing in my life, the biggest thing I went through. But my gosh, when I look back, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. And you might think, Josie, why the hell would you say it's the best thing that happened to you? Like, you're on the brink of suicide and postnatal. I lost myself. I felt lost. but I fucking found myself. I found who I truly am. And because of that, I get to be here and own who I truly am these days, and just feels like, if I feel, oh my God, just even say this and be here and speaking about my truth and being in my truth, and to be able to, even if I just help one person be who they truly are, my job's done.
And
You know,
that's already done without trying, because you can now be there for your children.
absolutely. And just let them be who they really are, to understand that, hey, you don't have to hide amongst the society, amongst the generations, amongst whatever you've been through. Just be who you are. Love and accept you no matter what. You have to love and accept yourself. And that's part of the reconditioning I think we're doing with everybody. It's just be who you are. But it's about them going, well, who the fuck am I? Who the fuck am
Yeah, and
I?
a lot of people are so confused because they're not
Excuse the
taught
swearing. But
who. No,
yeah.
go for it, absolutely love it, because it's passion, and actually we all need to get passionate about this. It there
Mm,
We need to almost dissolve the woo woo, because that is basically suppressing your own or anybody else's understanding of themselves. And we all need to understand ourselves better, because it has such a big effect. I love talking about this, and I love having debates about this too.
yep.
But so when we don't know who we are, we're in different jobs. We're in jobs that aren't aligned for us. Problems arise. You'll let that client down. You'll lose that contract. You'll probably get made redundant, or you'll leave because of medical reasons. And the domino
Yeah.
effect of that in your life is huge. That was starting with the root of work. Look at like the root of your relationship. If you're really unhappy in your relationship, you're probably going to look for emotional safety somewhere else. And then you're having
Mm-hmm.
affairs, and then you're being disloyal to somebody. Then you're probably then looking in a whole different pathway of friendships, of
Yeah.
family alignment. And then your health is impacted, because like we say, like your health is always bringing up symptoms to show you and get
Always.
you on the right path. And that big ripple effect from people just not knowing who they are, or what their purpose is, what their passions are, has such a huge ripple that people don't actually allow the insight into, because they call it woo.
Yeah. And this is the thing, right? Everyone's like, oh, it's woo woo, it's spirituality. We are all a spirit in a human body. We are all woo woo. It's just normal. It's why do we call it woo woo? I think it's just normal. But because it's being spoken about more openly, because past societies, past lives historically, we were killed for talking about this. We were witches. It's dark energy. It's all this. Like, seriously, that in itself is a belief system from certain religions, from certain
Yes.
cultures, from certain things, right? But it is natural when we look back to the roots to be connected to our innate wisdom as women, especially, like our intuitive knowing is just so strong. And this is the thing, when we become disconnected from our intuition, we become disconnected from reality, and we allow control and fear to take over. That's why we are so disconnected, or we have been so disconnected. So once you understand, oh, okay, I can trust my intuition. What is my intuition? Not what is my mind saying, what is my ego saying, what is fear saying, what is my intuitive knowing? And then start to just listen to those little glimpses and to trust that, then you will be led on the path that is always for you. We always have choices, and what is meant to happen for you will happen, but only if you take fucking action. My God, we cannot sit in a room and meditate all day.
My
You can't
God.
just come and have 10 bloody healings, like, all the time. It's like, what I'm here and, do the same. Yes, I do healing, but you are your own healer. And you mentioned that at the start is you have all the answers. What we're doing is unraveling the blocks, unraveling the beliefs, unraveling the fears that are stopping you from really tapping into trusting your own intuition. I never tell my clients or students what to do. They have their own answers. I guide them to their own answers, but it is up to them to take action, just like it was up to us to take action. And so really it's about, kind of holding the hand, but not squeezing it. It's like, okay, I've got your hand. I'm here, but you need to walk. You need to take the steps. You need to make those choices. And, sometimes it can feel frustrating. But what I realize is, you know, the creator will only send you people who you can help, or you may trigger. You might be, and you know, and I've learned to understand that it's okay. I can, you know, it's very rare. I can only count on maybe one or two where, you know, this one client said to me, she was referred to me by another person modality. She's like, you know, she's a bit of a tough nut. And I was like, that's okay, that's fine. And, you know, I could see all the hardship through the ancestry that she's been carrying. And it was just like, okay, that's fine. We did all these healings and she felt amazing. And after a few weeks, she goes, oh, I feel great. Da, da, da. And then life happened. Something happened at her work. And it was this blame on me. I know that if, you know, healing truly works, you know, things last and it stays forever. And I'm like, that's not how life works. Life is ups and downs. You are going to have shit happen. That is life. It is about realizing that, okay, how do I now react to this? Am I still the same person, or do I go back down into victim mentality of life's just shit, life's just hard? Now, on that note, I recently just taught theta healing, a basic course. I think it was last week. And my students, all four of them, you know, one of the days, I just got this download, this knowing from Craig. I'm like, get them to test, because we muscle test. They learn how to check what beliefs they have in this basic course, right? And it was along the lines, and I've had this belief before, and you've probably had this and shifted it too. I would say that life is hard. I have to battle my way through life. So they all had it in a different way. And sometimes it is just about the way we say it, those specific wordings. And even if it's in another language, right? And the shifts on all of them when that shifted was just like, wow. See, so many people are battling their way through life. I used to be one. Life was hard. I didn't know what it felt like to be easy. So be able to shift that and go, okay, shit happens, but I bounced. It's how you bounce back, how quick you bounce back, compared to staying into deep dark holes for months, for years, for, you know, decades. And so it's okay if you're there, because people are there, because you can be in that space, but going, I am done with this. I want something better. Reach out for support. And trust your intuition and have discernment over who you work with. Because back onto our conversation, which was about 15 minutes ago, I'll be really quick on that one, but the past lives, right? So why I came into theta healing was I had learned other modalities because of this neck pain. I'd had a session with someone over the phone and who was able to release these energetic hooks, which, you know, as we know what a hook feels like, it's like someone's hooking into your energy. Released all that out of my neck. I was on the phone, couldn't even see her. And I just went, oh my gosh, I have not been able to move my neck like that for years. Like, I'm talking years, right? So, and I went, I've got to come and learn this. So that was my start of my journey at 26, and, you know, doing all that stuff. But then where I got stuck with some things was they weren't touching on past lives, and I was getting these images. I was getting a lot of psychic attacks. Okay. So that were really quite overwhelming, constant psychic attacks. So a lot of dark, heavy energy coming onto me. And I was like, just clear energy, protect your
And
energy.
did you
Mate,
just like walk in
I tried.
spaces and absorb everybody's feelings
Absorb
and
everything
psyche?
everywhere. Yeah. And I had always done that since I was a child. And I never knew that until I started to learn this, why I felt tired all the time, and just, ugh. So once I understood that, I could clear, but they would still come back. And then I realized, and I could see in my mind's eye, I was having dreams about us things. And it was like, am I going crazy? That's what I thought. I was going
Yeah, I
crazy.
remember that.
You know, everyone goes to that stage. You're not going crazy. You're just going through an awakening. You're understanding.
My partner had to say to me, you need to learn more about what you're doing, because you can't control it right now. And it impacted every area of my life. It impacted how I could connect with people. It impacted who I didn't want to be around anyone. I wanted to be on my own all the time, because I was getting so consumed by it. I was doing the same as you, dreaming, having their emotions come through me in my sleep. I had like signs from spirit, like, I always shut all of the doors in the house before I go to bed. I woke up and they'd all been opened. And it was like spirit was saying to me, open yourself up to a clear path, like learn to connect with source so you are a clear path. Don't absorb their emotion and their feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the belief systems, right? That we have to take on other people's feelings in order to heal them. That's the shamanic. In theta, I teach about all the different levels of healing. And so with, you know, you've become this channel of source and divine, and you are of that clear path. Whereas a lot of people get stuck on different parts. They're not actually reaching divine energy. So they're working through other levels. But what I teach in Theta is how to work through the creator first, through the divine, through God, whatever you want to call it, right? Through Jesus, through whatever, right? It doesn't matter. But it's through the highest light. And then you can bring up the other energy levels, the other connections. And so with the mediumship as well, is I have a lot of discernment over who I speak with. I mean, I can do it. I don't predominantly promote it because we all have the ability to. And for me, when I'm with my clients, naturally the right relatives, past loved ones will come through. And so it's just like, okay, this is coming through, you know, this past loved one, da, 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 da. And like you said, how would I know that stuff? And sometimes even I go, oh my gosh, how do I even do this? But, you know, but before that, there are people that instill fear of that's demonic. That's, you know, you're not talking to the right people. You can only talk to here. And I'm really passionate. Again, I could speak 2 hours on this. We could have a whole nother chat about this. But who said, see, that demonic, that's a belief system from that society path. But yes, there are demonics, there are demon energies, there are demon type, you know, entities. However, through the work that I do, I've cleared the path of having those attachments, and I have discernment, and I know because I'm through Creator's light, and knowing that I'm always safe and protected because I've shifted the beliefs that I had to battle these energies. I've shifted the beliefs that it's unsafe to do that, all the stuff, like we could go on forever, right? So knowing that we all have the ability to connect to the loved ones. And, you know, in my angelic Reiki as well, I do it really quite beautiful because we become connected with those angels and they support, you know, all the healing and the different aspects that aren't physical, because we want to believe, people want to believe. And I used to be like this. It was like, hey, are you there? And it was until I saw a psychic medium was like, they want to know, yes, we are real. Like, do you want them to write it in the sky? I didn't even tell her what I was thinking. And that's what she said. The first thing she said, they're telling me, do you want us to write it in the sky? Yes, we are real. I was like, oh my gosh. So, you know, all these parts, you've got to follow your intuitive knowing. And so with the past lives, I was getting stuck because those modalities weren't touching. Their religious beliefs didn't touch on believing in that. So I had this knowing, well, I'm not a part of that and I need to follow my path. And Theta came to me and I felt like I came home. I felt heard. I felt supported. I didn't believe I was crazy. I was told, you're not crazy. You're just really learning to understand. You've just scratched the surface of your healing. We're going to get to the roots of your healing. So it has been life-changing. It really has. Amazing. We could literally chat for days here, Zeta.
An
Like, I feel like we need
journey.
to.
I love hearing you talk through it all. It's incredible. And I just relate to so much of it, and I know other people will too, because there's just so many loops that everybody eventually will have to walk through that you've just explained. And even the people that are the most blocked off people to feeling their emotion, to understanding what energy is, I guarantee that everybody in their lifetime crosses this path. And the reason I guarantee it is because it could not just be in their human existence. I believe that it could then be in their spiritual existence after their body has passed. And that is because we are just a shell. We are just literally this is what's just carrying my spirit, which is then the driver for everything else. But if I hadn't have experienced, every time I've had an awakening, something big has happened. So I would say like my first time was when I was 12 and I had to act in ways that children shouldn't have to act. And then, so I was like, oh, there's so much more here. Like, and I was curious into like the trauma and the emotions because I was like, this isn't normal. Like, this is not right. I knew then. And then
Yeah.
blocked it off, and knew that there was so much more going on. But I didn't even realize at the time I was already studying it. So I then went into doing media and journalism, and all of my project, I've got this massive bloody file, and it's
Oh, no
all
way.
about human existence with different emotions. But I didn't even clock right at this point. I'm like 16, 17, and it wasn't until I was 18 and I was started going traveling that I realized that there was so much more going on, and that I was like, oh, I've just like studied these emotions. Like, oh, okay, right. This
Mm,
is why I'm feeling this way. But again, I knew I was feeling anxious. I knew I was feeling like angry and resentful, but I couldn't understand why at that point. And then I hit then like corporate and grief. I experienced so much grief all in one compact time. And it just like awakened everything in me. I was like, I have to dive to the depths of life because I have to understand what just happened, from that person being in that body, me
mm,
staying there while the passing happened, and then the
mm,
spirit and the person no longer being there and it just being a body. That I was like, I have to understand this.
mm.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was like,
Yes.
and I just have never stopped. I then learned like what energy was, what chakras was, what emotional
Mm.
different therapies there were, the meditation, the visualization, like all of the different like
So
remedies.
much. And
And
there's so much more for us to learn, right? We never
oh,
stop learning because
forever.
people could look at you and just go, oh my gosh, she knows everything. She's done all this path, right? You look at what you've been through. It is a lot, but it is there is so much. We know
No,
nothing. Like
and like
we know
that.
nothing.
Yeah, that's literally the most amazing thing though about life, is there's always more to be curious about. There's always more to learn and to expand your consciousness into. And that, if you look, it's usually every 7 years you have an
Yes.
awakening. And so it works in alignment with my years. Like if I genuinely
Mm.
think about it, and usually for me, they work in like 2 year cycles, I find. And then I kind of like have this kind, there's cycles of healing, isn't there? And you'll have like really short cycles, which are like current moments, and then you'll have like chapters, and
Oof.
then I say like awakenings.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those awakenings, I think, take time to settle. You have lots of cycles within that bigger awakening cycle. And
Absolutely.
yeah, if I look at mine, they're like every 7 years for like a staggered 2 years of self-development. And I feel like that's why when people have babies, it's a rebirth of awakening to a whole different level than you've ever felt, because that's your biological connection to so much deeper energy. You've just shared energy, and then you've birthed that energy. And I think so many people get taken by surprise, or they have this expectation of birthing, and they don't actually think about the fact that it's a rebirth for you too, not the fact that you're just birthing. And so that then works in line, because a lot of people have children at like 28 or now a bit later on, but it
Yeah,
works in the
absolutely.
cycle of 7 years. And
Mm.
I think that you can't always choose your timing, and there is
Oh no, you
divine,
can't. Everyone has their own cycle
yeah,
and their own time.
they have divine timing. You can't force it, you can't control it or pressure it. And there'll be a reason why people conceive at certain times, when their path and their grid of life, of cycles, connects with them, knowing that they can hold themselves in that time. And if like they get triggered by the birthing or by that next awakening, then that's because they were meant to go far deeper than the surface level trigger or awakening that they could have had.
Absolutely. And each person's experience is so unique. So if people are listening and going, I want to, whether you become a mother and physically birth or not, you're still birthing. We all
Yeah.
go through birthing. Okay. So it's not about the physical, but
Oh,
obviously if
I
there is
felt I
physical.
felt a rebirth when I rescued our dog, because the
Oh,
rebirth was me
oh.
opening my heart up. Because for me, I, since experiencing a lot all of that grief, I hadn't been asked to open my heart to something that
Mm.
I had responsibility for. That's the key, is
Yes.
like, how much responsibility do you have for this thing? So it's very easy to welcome a friend in because you're not responsible for them. But that thing,
And friends can come and go.
yeah, but that thing is solely reliant on you. So you have to open your heart capacity so much more that I did. I went through like this rebirth and I was
I
like,
can feel that. I
the
can feel that for
grief,
you.
the
Yeah, that's
grief.
huge. That's huge. That's big. And the interesting thing about opening, I've been speaking about this lately with people, and I noticed for myself, and I'm sure you've experienced this, we all kind of experience this, is when you have an opportunity to really open your heart, you realize how closed off your heart has been, and you don't really truly, see what I mean by understand what it really feels like to have your heart wide open, because so many of us, everyone, I'm going to say everyone here because it's the human experience, have experienced grief on certain parts, whether it's relationship breakups, whether it's death, whether it's grieving old parts of yourself, and putting up these boundaries and protections because we don't fully feel our grief and our sadness and our hurt and our pain. We put this protection up. But here's the thing, the protection is what is keeping the pain in. That is the pain. But when we allow it to open and experience those feelings, it's what I'm hearing right now as I'm saying it, like to truly like wail and to allow it all out, to express those emotions, then it can truly open. We can't give love and receive it at the same time if we're closed off. And I never really understood that until I felt that and experienced it myself, when I've really I used to say, when I experienced, when I did have my children, obviously I felt this love that I've never felt before, and so doing that. But then I realized that I was still limited. I was still limited because I was not really allowing myself to receive love because of past hurts, past relationships and things. So working on that over the years and realizing that I'd still had this barrier of protection to not even allow my husband truly in. Like, this guy chose me for who I am, but here I was scared of being judged, scared of all these fears, of all these past relationships still affecting me. And when I've really shifted through and cleared those and gone, oh my God, what it is I'm rejecting parts of me because I thought there was something wrong with me, right? Because that's why, I was hurt or yada, yada. But then putting that guard down and really opening and allowing it yourself to feel true love at the expense of knowing I could get hurt at any given moment, because we can, but it's okay. I'm going to risk that and take that, because by keeping up that wall, that's actually the pain already.
And if somebody does want to address that pain, but they're fearful of being met with more pain, you won't be.
Mm,
You won't be, because
this
you're
is the
either
thing.
gonna
Yeah, they are.
be
It is the
met,
fear.
yeah, you're gonna
It's
be
just
met
fear.
with
It's not
love.
truth.
Yeah,
Mm,
there's love there, or you're gonna find a new sense of love within yourself because you would have disconnected from that pain and been able to see clearly into it and go, actually, that wasn't my pain. Like, I've come here, I've tried to be vulnerable, I've opened the door to vulnerability, and the pain isn't not being met or being rejected. The pain is the fear, the fear that you're
it is
putting in
fear.
front of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Fear will stop you from truly feeling what you need to feel. And that is one of the main things that we work, like that I teach when we teach the theta healing, is you learn to work on your fears. If someone comes to me and they don't know what they want to work on, I ask, what's your worst fear? We get to the roots of the worst fear, of what's really underneath the fear. And
And
oh
they're
my God, I could
so
share.
often interlinked, aren't they? Like, someone will say, "Oh, I'm fearful of spiders," and then you're like, "Okay, well, why are you fearful of spiders?" Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so when this happens, why does that create fear? And then it's like a
Yes.
linking chain of, actually, a lot of people's fears are all tied together, and
Mm,
it may take time to work through the different beliefs that are tied to the fears, but the root fear is usually a core foundation to their pain and
absolutely.
problems.
Yes, spot on. Or a fear of being, a lot of the roots can be a fear of that there is nothing, that they are nothing. And that's a big one.
Mm.
I used to think that before I'd found that there was nothing, that we die and there was nothing. And so
Yeah.
because I had all these blocked beliefs around, religious aspects, all those things, even though I didn't believe in it, it was in my cells, it was in my upbringing, but realizing that those fears were not truths. They were just fears keeping me stuck in more fear. And so really getting to those roots and shifting those has also enabled me to really trust my intuition and to the connection. But you're 100% right. It's like people just want to go, oh, I come to a session and it's just gone all in once. It's like, that's not how life works. You're just unraveling. I love using the onion analogy. It's like we're just unraveling. We're just peeling off
Layers.
one layer at a time. And there's more layers and more layers. And it becomes easier though to peel the layers
And
as you get
that's
more
the
depth.
beauty when people understand that it all comes in cycles, because all of our traumas in circles. So as you're saying, you like unravel, unlayer, and that
Mm.
kind of motion, I like to say, is like your cycle. And so every time you go through the cycle, you're peeling back a new layer. So if we ever thought that we had no layers to keep going through, that would be quite a sad world, because it's an evolution, like, of growth. Like as you peel back the
Yeah, your
layers, they go back
expansion.
within, and it's like a constant, like, reflowering, really.
Mm. And really, and it, the more depth, the more you clear, the more you work on your fears, the resentments, your regrets, your rejections. They're the main things, right? I feel like I've given you a bit of a mini lesson here, but it's you already know this, but this is what I've really delved into the basic course, right? It's not even the expanded ones, but the more you understand that if you keep running away from your fears, they're still there. It's like the shadow is still there. It's going to come with you. If you're scared of your shadow, I remember my son used to be really scared when he was little. He was such this little scaredy cat, and that's fine. That's his nature, right? That's his growth. That's what he's going to grow through. And he's a real, we're all old souls, but he's very in tune. He loves to question things. And when he was little, he would be really scared, and he would look and like, "Mama, shadow, dark," to me, and I'd made up this song in my head. I was just like, we're going to dance with our shadows. I would sing "Dancing with My Shadow." Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that
Yeah.
on recording.
Oh,
But I used to
you
sing that
go,
to him, and
girl.
I could feel that he didn't really still feel safe about it. But we would embed that, and I would sing that, and I would, calm him down. It's like, it's okay. We're going to dance with our shadow. Look how cool it is. If you've got the shadow there going on,
Yeah.
when you're in the sun and you can see your shadow, it is always with you. But the light is showing you the shadow. Without the light, you wouldn't see it. And that's what I
Yeah.
say to people. You are in a dark room, and I remember being in the darkest of holes when I was just like, I don't even want to be here anymore. What's the point of life? I think a lot of us will feel this and go through that dark night of the soul where you're just like, what am I even here for? Oh my God, this is too hard, because it feels so painful and this feels really scary. And I remember just being like, please. And I didn't even know if I believed in God back then, because, I grew up in religious stuff, and I was like, I do not believe in that God that is down telling me that I'm going to go to hell and shame for what I've done and all this stuff. And I remember just being told by this beautiful healer at the time, saying to me, all you need to do is ask God, please help me find your light. And I did. I said that over and over and over. And I honestly found the light. I found my light. I found the light of the world. I found the light in everybody. And that's what I do now. And I found theta through that. It found me. I say it found
Yeah.
me because it helped me find my light, because it helped me resolve and clear those beliefs and those fears that were stopping me from feeling the light. That's
Yeah.
all it is. It is just beliefs. It
Absolutely.
is
And
just,
I think it's really important to let people know that this isn't about religion. You don't have
no,
to
nothing to
believe
do
in
with
a
it.
religion or a certain religion to be able to do this. You also are allowed to be
Yeah.
spiritually connected and not religious. A lot of people pair the two. And I would say that I am not personally religious. I love being in religious environments
Yeah.
and cultures.
Yeah. Love learning
I
about them. Yeah.
just love being around people that believe in something. I don't mind what you believe in, but believe in
Whatever you
something.
believe in. Yeah.
And but I'm very, very spiritually connected, and that is because of like the energetics of spirituality. And so you can do this no matter what you believe in. The facts are there when it comes to energy. If you think about the
Mm.
energy that's in the universe and the atoms that are
Yeah.
within the universe, they're the same atoms that are within us. So that's how
Absolutely.
we connect. For those that haven't maybe explored spirituality to the depths of what we're talking about, or maybe they feel like they have had a past with religion like you have, and that they don't want to look into that. You don't have to. You don't have
No, you
to
don't have
be
to.
connected in
Yeah,
that way. And I really hope everybody explores now so much further, because this is definitely the probably most in-depth energetic conversation that has been on this YouTube channel. So if people love it, they must let us know in our messages and comments,
absolutely.
so we know to have more of these conversations, because I know now that we would be able to talk for hours and hours.
And underwater to each other, right? And just on that note, just quickly, it's like, and if you are with religion, I totally respect that, because the thing is, we all come through to learn our own different experiences in whatever way it is. And so I always have to try and put that little caveat of, I'm not saying religion is bad, not at all. It is a sense of community, a sense of belonging, but I found my way of belonging amongst all of that. And what I try to explain is, you can still be, we are all spiritual, as we've said, we're all a spirit. And if you take it right back even to science, and you just mentioned that of, we're all the atoms, we're all molecules, we're all made up of that creative energy, and it is scientifically proven. What makes up the stars is within us, the energy is within us, everything. We are just molecules vibrating at different frequencies. We're not actually physical, we just feel physical because of the vibrations. And that just makes me go, oh my God, that's so trippy. But you're human, we are physical, right? We can touch each other, but we can also connect in without that. And the thing is, religion is man-made. It is man-made. No one created religion but man. Man created
Yes.
religion. So that's why there's so much religion, and it can cause division, as we've seen in the world. And I don't want to talk about this because it'll go on forever. But that's why I kind of like to be on that outside and have this big overall perspective and understanding, and this big, massive respect for it all, right? Because we get to choose our beliefs. And if we all had the same beliefs, how friggin' boring would life be?
Yeah.
How boring would life be? But I love staying open to it and being able to question all of life. But I go beyond the religion, because I go beyond the person. It's like the soul, it's the experience, but we get to choose. So it's okay if you do find comfort in religion and those beliefs. Absolutely. I just like to teach that it's okay for everyone to have their own beliefs and to question their beliefs and to shift your beliefs if you wish to. It is all
Yes,
a choice.
absolutely. Because at the end of the day, all we all want, no matter what religion, no matter what path we've walked, we all desire the same thing: happiness and love. They're the
Yeah.
two, you know,
Belonging. Yeah.
yeah. And so if your beliefs aren't allowing you to be happy and to love deeply, then there's somewhere in that belief system that needs changed. And like I said before, you can stay closed-minded and you can push it away, but we've just discussed as well, the pain will always be there. And so you have to listen when that's coming through to you, that actually
Mm.
you got to look in somewhere. You got to look in. If you don't have beliefs, start having some beliefs. Start looking into what your beliefs are.
Well, yeah, it's the fear of knowing their beliefs of, oh, I've got to make change and I've got to grow and it's going to be uncomfortable. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be uncomfortable, because no one's ever grown when they're comfortable. See, a lot of people like to stay stuck in their pain because they're comfortable there. And this will hit a few truths, right? You are responsible for your own pain. You are responsible for it. Right. And I remember feeling like, no, I'm not. I blamed whoever, this past relationship, the family, the upbringing, the da 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 da. I remember being in that victim mode for a really long time and being like, well, I hate, like, when I realized that I was responsible for feeling that way because I was holding on to all of that, it was like a kick in the ass. It's like a slap in the face. Oh my
And like
gosh,
it
I
literally,
am my own problem. Yeah, I was choosing that. And yes, and as we said, people don't choose certain things that have happened to them, but we are completely responsible with what we do with that and how we heal from that, and whether we want to hold on to that and stay in that low vibration, stay in that victim mentality. Yes, we are. And that's a really hard pill for people to swallow, that I have a choice in now in what I do with this. I can either wallow in it and I can swallow in it and I can stay really stuck in my story and my victim story, or I can rise above it and I can become, the victor of it and going, Okay, because here's the thing, things happen, people change, but we stay stuck in what was back then. We think everyone and everything is still back then. It is not. It is not. And so being able to go, hey, here's the key to unlocking yourself. You do have your own answers. You do have your own path. It is going to look different to everybody else's path. Do not compare. This is the problem. People compare. I want to be where she is. I want to be where he is. I want to do this. You don't know. Do you want all their shit that they went through too? Do you don't know what's going
Yeah,
on?
well,
We
and
all
that
have
is
our
the
own
thing, is a lot of
journey.
people compare in a desire of want, but they don't actually take in consideration what the person's experienced to get there. And this is when, oh my gosh, we really could talk, because this is when I go into
Just schedule another
timeline
one.
and I think
Yeah.
about age. Let's eliminate it. I could be 15 and experienced such extreme emotion and trauma that's stuck in my body. I've gone through an awakening and I've gone to the root straight away, and I've cleared that out, and that's given me intuitive insight. I could then experience that at 21, I could experience it at 28, I could experience it at 54, I could experience it at any age. But every time you also then go through an awakening, you are connecting even deeper to your truth and intuition. So it's like, yes, there is an age. It's about how much you've looked inwards. Because you could be 54 and you could have
Absolutely.
never have ever looked inwards to have an awakening before.
Yeah, and some won't do it in this lifetime. Most are, because we are at this time of Earth to be awakening. We really are. And this is why we're here. That's why we need more people who are doing our work, the light work. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't deal with the darkness, because like I said, you've got to have the light and dark. It's not all love and light here. We deal with the shit, right? We deal with the truth.
Yeah.
But what I am noticing, especially recently, I have had older people, when I'm saying older, more into the maturity of life,
Yes,
near
me
retirement, coming
too.
to me, and they're learning, and I fucking love it,
I
because
know.
they're empowering themselves. They're realizing, oh my gosh, I've been living a life, still to my parents, still to my ancestors, still to whatever society. Even though these people have passed, I'm still stuck in these patterns, and I'm not truly living a life that I desire. And I love it, because it doesn't matter how old you are. See, that's a society belief. That's a collective
That
consciousness
is,
belief.
yeah.
Oh, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's a freaking collective belief. Or, once you're done, you've got to retire. Who freaking said? That's a collective belief. No one said you can never stop learning. You can always grow. And also look at the beliefs of, once you get older, you got a sore back and you can't move. Bullshit. I know plenty of older people that are
Yeah.
very fit and healthy. That is a belief. So, everyone's here. You have to take responsibility. You have to trust your inner guidance, knowing if you don't understand how to, please, there is plenty of people who are willing to help you, but you want to help yourself. And,
Yeah.
you're worthy and deserving of living the life that you came here. Like, do you want to get to your deathbed, or not even know that you're going to get to your deathbed and go, oh, I've got to come back and do this all again? And that's fine. Some of us do, right? But I'm like, I'm done. I've learned a lot of my lessons, a lot of my lifetimes. Like, I am here to live the life in this. We're so blessed that we can speak about this stuff in these lifetimes, that it is the normal, because it is what we're created to do.
Yeah.
We're here to be doing this.
And
Don't let fear.
everybody will, like, I want to reverse, like, go all the way back, full cycle moment, back to the beginning where we were talking about yin and yang, feminine and masculine.
Mm,
We are all creators. We all have feminine within us. How much you allow yourself to be a creator and in your feminine is your choice. But masculine is that drive and the structure and the control. So you have to choose where you want to place your energy and how much you want to be in one or the other. Are there emotional blocks keeping you in one or the other? Have you had this emotional pattern from your generations to be in more one or the other? And there is
mm,
definitely a balance for absolutely everybody. And you've just got to find your person to teach you, because it
yeah,
is all a learning, and you have to give yourself that opportunity.
absolutely. And it is about realizing that, like you said, like, so even if someone is in that point right now of going, okay, I want to know more, what do I do? There is so much information out there, but have discernment over who you listen to,
Mm.
where you go to. You've got to really trust that, and knowing that no one has the answers for you. They can guide you. There's so much information, obviously, that we can share. There's so much information out there, but that wisdom and knowledge is in you through centuries within you of your cells already. You're just opening the light to go, oh, I can see it now. I can hear it now. I'm ready to understand it, because you've probably been hearing this for your whole life, but you weren't ready. You weren't willing, or you weren't ready to understand it. So you'll feel it and see it with new eyes and new ears and go, okay, I'm ready to do this. And the right people will be put in front of your path
Yes.
at the right
And
moment. Trust that.
literally,
Trust and surrender.
our social
It's
medias,
amazing.
our technology is all interlinked,
Mm,
and you can call it cookies or you can call it somebody being placed in your path. But if you keep seeing somebody come up, you should probably connect with them. Like, if
yeah.
you
And
keep
trust that gut
thinking about
knowing.
somebody, yeah. I actually went through a time where I was like, when you think of somebody, so for example, um, oh my gosh, why is my brain gone blank?
Just somebody,
But yeah,
somebody.
you just think of
Yeah.
somebody and you're like, oh, I wonder how they are today. There we go. That was simple, wasn't it? Jeepers.
And then they come in.
Yeah, I wonder how they are today. And actually being like, oh, I've just had that thought, clocking that I had that thought and sending them a message because there's a reason that that's come into your wavelength.
Yes, yeah, you're connecting. You're connecting your frequencies. We're always interconnected, and it happens. And people don't realize that. They go, "Oh, I don't really believe in all that stuff." It's like, how many times have you thought of someone and then they call or they message or you bump
Yeah.
into them, and you're like, oh, that was a coincidence. Was it
Was
really? Or was it
it?
divinely orchestrated? And you're realizing how connected we all are. Every single person, whatever is in someone is in you. Whatever you can see in someone, you can see in yourself. You just don't know that.
Yeah.
And so being able to see that we are all mirrors for each other and understanding that life is that journey. But anyway, that's for people to understand and really know. But yeah, we could seriously chat. Oh my God, we need to chat,
We
but we
Yeah, we can do this. We can create a little series because we all
oh,
need it. I think everybody needs it. And I've absolutely loved connecting with you. I know that everyone's going to love
honestly,
connecting
thank
with this
you.
episode.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. You are
Oh,
amazing. You have such an incredible energy. I love being in it. So I'm
thank
going
you
to
so
pop your
much.
link here, okay? So
Yeah,
anyone that wants to connect with you, if anyone wants to do healing or training in angelic Reiki or theta healing, you do trainings for both, don't you? Then
I
reach
do. I do.
out to you because
Oh, thank you so much.
you would be such a wonderful teacher. I can already, you can feel the passion. If somebody can't feel the passion through this episode, then I need them to connect with their passion.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We need more people like that. No, but thank you. Honestly, it's a real honor. It's beautiful to be able to share, because if we don't talk about these things, people won't know. And throughout my own experience, it's going through most of your life hiding the truth of who you really are and your knowing and understanding because of fears. And so being able to come on the other side of that and be like, oh, life can be so joyful. It can be so fun. It can be so freeing and safe, to feel safe and just go with those beautiful connections and that trust of, oh my God, what these beautiful miracles are that we get to experience. So it can happen for anyone. Like, if I didn't think it could happen for me, it can happen for everyone. So just trust in the journey and know that the light is needed, but it's okay wherever you're sitting, because we will all be each other's lights when we need to be.
Absolutely. Oh, that was such a wonderful message to leave it on. Thank you so, so much. And I'm sending you so
Mm,
much love. Until
thank you, my
next
love.
time.